Hi, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, March 28th, is the weekly Jupyter Dev meeting. And today we have a number of things to cover. I'm running off my iPad, so if I look in a different direction as usual, it's because I'm looking for the camera on top of my computer and not at the camera on the side of my iPad. Let's look at our action items from last week. It looks like we have a Jupyter Lab 0.18 out, so thanks, Steve. Way to go. Woo! Pat on the back. Good job. So check that out. Please try it out. Test it, see if you can find issues, and report back what you find. Next, we have some action items that are hanging around from the week before last and before that. So Matthias isn't here today, but he's still looking for feedback for his async REPL implementation. So there's a link there. You can go there and make some comments. Matthias is also looking for thoughts on what Qt API versions IPython should support. There's a link there to the issue. And then Grant is looking for people to test Notebook 5.0.0 B2, which is actually RC1. So let's just come together on what we want to call this puppy, RC1. And then finally, this has been in there for a while, but go ahead and if you haven't already, weigh in on the great readline debate, and the link is right there. Ian is here to continue to capture our action items. Hi, Ian. And this week, Carol is going to post the notes on the mailing list since Matthias is on vacation this week. So great. Let's see. We've got our weekly news by organization. So again, team leads. If you want to share your screen during that time or just use those the news as a tool to help you update the team on what's going on in your different sub-projects, that would be great. We'll move into the project management section. Last week, I distributed our notes from the brand bag that we had at Duke after the reproducible science workshop. There was a really good feedback from folks in a couple different departments, namely biostatistics, bioinformatics, computational biology, and then there's a visualization center at the library there at Duke that is doing some fairly cutting edge work. So I can share, I'll post a link to that for the group to check out once I'm finished giving my update. Next, we have Jason can talk about this a little bit more. Some folks of us here at Berkeley and Carol participated in an evaluation of Jupyter Lab for looking at gender inclusivity. It's pretty interesting looking at different information processing styles that seem to cluster by gender and how to reflect those in software tools. I certainly learned a lot, and Jason can go into depth a little bit more on that one since he was so kind to organize that for the Jupyter Lab team. So thanks, Jason. Next we have, so last week I helped move the declarative widgets projects to the Jupyter widgets org. So just kind of helping things move along. So thanks guys for that. Sylvan stepped in, Gino and Peter stepped in to help get that done. And then last week I floated the question of what should our next team tutorial be? And a couple of folks thought that widgets would be a great tutorial. So I sent Jason and Sylvan an email, and haven't heard back from you guys. So what do you think?
So that's like a good idea. We're going to give tutorials on widgets in a few venues in the next weeks anyway, so we'll have to prepare something regardless. So it sounds like a good idea.
All right.
I would say give it a couple of weeks. Right now we're really clearly documenting the widget protocol and revamping and cleaning up a lot of the cruft that's accumulated over the years. And so give us a couple of weeks to do that. And then I think it would be a great time to have a tutorial that not only talks about widgets in general, but talks about the recent progress we've made towards widgets 7.0.
Cool, perfect. And so if I tried to schedule something for like the end of April, beginning of May, would that be reasonable? Okay, great. Cool. Also, I wanted to bring to folks' attention, there was, and Carol jumped in and commented on this too, there was a request on GitHub to do a release for the Qt, have to look. It just popped into my head. I may have to circle back. Let's see.
Qt console.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, console. And folks on there wanted to release it, so I think they're going to go for it. Yep, I wanted to share that with the rest of the group in case there was anything else that dangles off of that across the team.
Is Carlos involved in that?
Yeah, Carlos has been involved. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's in good hands. So we'll just let that go. Great. So those are all the updates I have for this week. Next, we usually do IPython, but Matthias is out. If anybody has any IPython, let's see, is Thomas here? Nope. Feel free to share IPython stuff if you have IPython updates. Otherwise, we'll move into the notebook. So it looks like Grant, that's you.
Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
So we released Notebook RC2 last week, and it looks like there's no new issues related to 5.0. So we're going to plan on releasing 5.0 general release this week. If anybody has any feedback about RC2, please let me know in the next couple of days. But I think that we'll plan on releasing probably on Thursday or Friday.
Great.
Mm-hmm. And that's it for Notebook.
Do you want to put that in the notes?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was it. So next, we usually do MB Convert. Mike's out today. So we'll do move into services. Min can't make it today either. Sometimes Pete steps in. Pete is also away today. So let's keep going to JupyterLab. Steve, Darian, Jason.
We released 0.18 last week, which is just the Python package now. There are 52 JavaScript packages now associated with JupyterLab that are all published under the JupyterLab, at JupyterLab.org on NPM. So that the big split is done with that. So Grant has already been plugging away trying to use it, and we're thankful to him for that. I spent most of the last week trying to clean up after that mess in terms of what's the new developer workflow in light of having 52 packages all managed together. I think we're at a pretty good solution now. Darian and I worked pretty hard on that. Darian also did some work on the cleaning up the completer. There were a couple outstanding bugs, so it's a really nice type behavior on the completer. Kudos to him for that. Chris released Phosphor 1.0 and is committed to API stability, so that's great for us as the biggest consumer of Phosphor. And so in Master JupyterLab, we've already converted over all our packages to the Phosphor 1.0 packages. So the next release across the board will include that, and that'll make things a lot more stable for consumers as well. Checking the list again. And I guess Jason has a note here about the gender inclusivity workshop. Did you want to take that, Jason?
Sure. Yeah, we had a short workshop with Margaret Burnett with the Gender Mag system for basically taking some personas and walking through a workflow in your application and looking at it from different learning styles, things for different facets that people have, for example, whether they're risk adverse or they want to try to poke and push things and things might break. Compared, another facet would be people that like to read everything beforehand and understand everything before doing anything, and versus more experiential learners. Anyway, so we took a persona and walked through a workflow, and it was a really good experience I posted the link to the materials up there if you guys want to look at it. I'd highly suggest watching the video on that website first before looking at some of the workshop materials and stuff. But all of their materials are actually open source and online. So we went through it for the experience, but really you can do it yourself as well. Carol, did you want to say anything about it? You were participating in it as well.
I thought it was great, and thank you. And I think we should do at least parts of it as we look at new releases and things.
So if
that's a great idea.
Interested in doing that, we can hook you up with the person that created the system, which is the person that we were sitting down with. She sounded like she was interested in helping basically this impact the world. So if other people are interested in doing something like that, we can sit down with her, or we can sit down and try to recreate the experience we had. Help somebody through the system.
Sounds good. Can you guys hear the jackhammers in the background on my end? Okay, no. Sorry about that.
One more thing. This is revolutionary. It just changed my life for Dropbox Paper. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you copy a link somewhere, like a browser, and you highlight some text in Dropbox Paper and paste, it'll automatically make that highlighted text a link to whatever the link that it was that you copied. Anyway, it just blew my mind.
That is cool.
That it just happened. I just double-clicked on something and I forgot that I was trying to make it a link, and I just pasted it and it made it a link.
Like magic.
Anyway, try it out. It's brilliant.
Awesome. Cool. All right. I'm going to try to keep myself to a minimum since now there's construction going on outside. So next we have widgets, Sylvan and Jason.
I think the biggest thing is that we're trying hard to document the protocol. And so I put a couple links to the current documentation of our message protocol and our model attributes. This is a call from people that are trying to implement widgets or implement backends or frontends for widgets other than IPyWidgets and JupyterJS widgets, and just to try to make things a lot more defined. So I think we have good documentation in there now for what's in 6.0. And of course, that revealed a huge bunch of cruft. And we're trying to clean that up as fast as we can, and maybe pretty soon release 7.0 with a revamp widget message spec, and probably not too much change the actual widgets themselves, but mostly changes under the hood that'll make it a lot easier for people to implement widget protocol. We also have a few new PRs. There's a few more PRs from people that are cleaning up documentation. So I think 3 new people contributed to the repo with documentation fixes that we really appreciated.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Looks like JupyterHub is next. Carol, do you want to take it today?
Sure. Pretty much moving along on all things JupyterHub. Min's going to be working more on OAuth and all the goodness that will bring us, and also refactoring some of the proxy stuff to make it easier for folks. And I went through and closed a whole bunch of issues yesterday, and I'm going to do the remaining spawners and authenticators later this week. And that's about it.
Thanks, Carol. Yeah, it was really incredible when I opened up GitHub the other day, and there was just like my notifications was this huge list of issues that have been closed by Carol Willing. It was just a whole list of red, and which is in this case a good thing. So that's awesome. Thanks. All right. So for conferences and outreach, we have one new one to share. We have Craft 2017 Budapest, or shall I say Budapest, April 25th to 28th, giving a tutorial on IPyWidgets. That sounds pretty fun. That's Sylvan's, you're going to speak there. Can you add that to the
I'm giving a.
board?
I did add it to the board and just earlier today, and it's just a long form tutorial. The same thing we're going to do at SciPy.
Oh, fantastic! You'll get some good practice leading up to SciPy. Awesome. Cool. And then the ones that we've already announced, the team meeting will be May 29th May 29th to June 2nd here in Berkeley. And we have a couple things going on in April, namely Codeland is happening, PyData Amsterdam, and then coming up in May, we have PyData London, and then in June, PyParis, and then of course in July, SciPy. And the CFP deadlines for SciPy are closing in. I think actually they're up. So hopefully you got your talks and papers and posters and everything in.
There's also
That's
PyCon at the end of May.
This is right. Yes. Yeah, I like bringing up the schedule every week. A little more difficult to do that with my current setup on the iPad. But yeah, PyCon coming up in May. So with JupyterCon, just a quick update. Yeah, thanks to all the reviewers on the program committee. We finished the review process yesterday. There were about 200 proposals that folks went through, and it was really interesting to go through and read the talk proposals and to see all the different things people are working on that relate to Jupyter. So we'll start shaking those out, and I'm not sure. I think we have a date for when the announcements will be made, but I can provide a more concrete date probably at the next meeting. All right, so governance. We don't have any governance updates this week. I do have kind of a standing appointment to meet with Brian to update some of the documents based on the fall dev meeting. So you should see those in the next couple of weeks. Releases this week include Notebook 5.0.0 and upcoming releases are IPyKernel 4.6 and Notebook 5. We're looking at Thursday or Friday of this week. And we will also be getting a Jupyter Lab 0.19 release when Steve tells us. Okay. And there's an issue for that. So everybody who's watching can keep track of that issue. Thanks, Steve. Great. Anyone else have anything they want to share with the group that's not in the notes? All right, pretty quiet, folks. Okay. Well, thanks so much. It's really great to see everyone. Nice work getting all these releases out, and we'll see you next week.